And INEC says manual accreditation of voters will be considered, I should say, but this would be in the eventuality that the electronic card reader fails during the elections, stating that where the biometric authentication fails, the voter will then be required to thumbprint a box next to his or her picture on the register and to enter the mobile telephone numbers before proceeding to vote. Let's talk about all these developments now being carried out by INEC. We bring in a political analyst this hour, Thomas Wilson Ikubese. He joins us from Akure. Thank you very much, Mr. Ikubese, for joining us at this time. What do you make of this arrangement by INEC now to use a manual format just in case the card readers don't work or fails at any time during the elections?
Yeah, thank you for having me. Basically, we had expected that everything should go the way it should go, but you know, sometimes things don't always go the way you expect them to go. So like it was explained yesterday that INEC would consider to do manual accreditation where the card readers fail. I think it's a good move because the card readers may not function all of the time in all of the polling units. So where the card readers fail to function, then we'll be talking about manual accreditation of voters. That's very much in order. And where there is a doubt, we now go into the biodata analysis, where you'll be talking about the thumb printing close to the passport of the individual to be sure it's the same person that owns that data that is actually voting. So for me, I think it's a welcome development based on the fact that nobody will be disenfranchised on the day of election.
And then there are still fears which INEC is trying to allay of possible manipulation of the card readers if and when it does work now during the elections. What are your thoughts here?
Yeah, the manipulation of the card reader is a fear that many electorates have had, is a fear that many political analysts have had over time, because the moment you begin to have the manipulation of the card reader, it means that the results will no longer be appreciated. It means that there is even no need for you to go to the polling unit to go and cast your vote. But if we have a straightforward electronic system of voting and collation, I think that will be greatly taken care of. And that's why many of us felt so sad. Many of us were depressed when Mr. President failed to give assent to the amended electoral bill, because it would have changed most of the things that actually constitutes our fear. So as it is now, well, INEC will have to do the much it could do. But what is important is seeing that nobody is disenfranchised on the election day, and beyond that, making sure that those who vote are actually the people that own those card readers. A situation where we have underage voters, especially like we have in the northern part of the country, people who are underage being on the queue, people having to buy a voter's card and even without accreditation, going ahead to vote with it, because there would now be an excuse that, okay, there is no functional voters machine, so therefore, let's do manual registration, let's do manual voting. The voting is manual anyway. So this will tend to put to risk the credibility of the result that we will have. So for me, it's like a double-edged sword. While we do not want people to be disenfranchised from voting, at the same time, there is a fear, the risk of the fact that people who also cast their vote might just very well be those who do not own the card. But if we are going to go by the rule, INEC has said they will play by the rule, and playing by the rule, if we have that manual accreditation, there must be a corresponding biodata which shows that truly this is the person that should be casting the ballot that day.
All right, and then the list of registered voters was released earlier in the week. Now there's been a lot of commentaries on that, especially with regards to the numbers. It's a slight increase now from the 2015 elections. What do you make of this, the psyche of the average Nigerian voter ahead of the polls? I mean, even as we still are yet to get an impressive number of those who have collected their PVCs, what would you say in this regard?
Well, I think I'm particularly worried at the very large number of persons who have not collected their voters' card. The number is alarming. It's disturbing that we have such a large chunk of people who are yet to collect their voters card. I think at the point it was contemplated that the voters card should be destroyed. Again, the fear that it could be hijacked by people. But I think more and more importantly is the fact that most of the procedure for collecting the card is cumbersome. For instance, I have postulated over time that we are in the 21st century, and I live in a particular place when I had that voters card registered for, and now I have moved away from there. It becomes difficult to even do a transfer. These are things that should be done very easily, but I think it's been made unnecessarily difficult, and some people are saying it's deliberate so that some people will be disenfranchised. There's no reason why you should not be able to register in one place and vote in another place. There's no reason why Nigerians in the diaspora should not be able to vote. So I think our politicians are making these whole things very, very difficult and making life even unbearable for INEC, so to say, because INEC is supposed to be the arbiter. But where the politicians are playing the off and on game, then it makes the whole thing difficult. It shouldn't be difficult. Right. Governance is not rocket science. I've always said that. Okay. But because we have a set of people in leadership who are not ready to make the system work, so the system is not working.
Thomas Ikubese, we appreciate your comments this hour. Thank you very much for speaking with us on TVC News.